Amateur opinions, amateurs. How's it going? It's your juice. It's your host.
It's your juice.
Oh my word! It's your host Juice back in the hizzle. Brand new week, brand new episode. Amateur opinions. I've got my guest Ijangolet Ogwang. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Yeah, it's been a crazy week, man. So we've just gone through the discovery that UYINENE, the girl who was missing from UCT for a week, that she was they finally figured out what exactly happened. And what happened was she went to the post office on a sunny day in the afternoon, and then she goes there and she was told that I think there wasn't electricity. There was no electricity. This was probably at like 12.
Yeah.
No electricity, and then she was told to come back at 2.
Yeah.
Now keep in mind, I think post offices actually close at 1. I might be mistaken, but I think they close at 1 on the weekend.
Yeah.
So she was told to come back at 2, and then she comes back, and then that's when the tragedy happens. The guy who had told her to come back then hit her with a scale. She tried to fight back, but he overpowered her ultimately, and then I think he raped her, and her body was found in Kailicha or something. So very sad story, and it has brought up the whole discussion of what do we do? Like, what are the options we have to mitigate such issues? Any ideas?
So, I mean, a conversation I was having with a friend actually the week before that I briefly told you about offline. It's just the value of allies, where I find myself torn that on one hand, it's like, okay, cool, allies within sexism, within these kind of issues around femicide are useful. So having male allies, and the same could be said for race, so having white allies around racial justice issues. But I worry about what I was telling you earlier. So if we're to use a scenario that's very simplistic compared to this thing that happened. So if we're to think about, like, in a boardroom, I experience something that I view to be sexist, and I tell this guy, hey, Tabo, that was sexist, it's not okay. And he kind of shrugs it off and is like, oh, whatever, she's just being a girl, and all the other guys say the same thing. But when Glenn comes and says, hey, Tabo, I actually think that's not cool, dude, and that was sexist, he reflects and says, hey, Glenn, I think I got what you mean about that being sexist, and he apologizes to me. But my concern there is it still renders my voice and my experiences as not good enough. Not good enough to cause Tabo to reflect on his actions unless a male says the same thing, which for me is like, it points to a bigger issue we have in our society. Yeah. But then at the same time, I do see the value of male allies. And I think what this specific tragedy made me think about is just like questions around, in male circles, how often do you guys hold each other accountable versus like laugh off problematic chats from your homies? Like, is it easy to kind of tell the line between tongue in cheek and I'm not even sure if boys should just be boys at this rate. Yeah. But like tongue in cheek comments versus, hey dude, that's actually not okay. So I don't know. I wanted to pick your brain a bit.
So on a personal basis, my friends, you know a lot of my friends. I do. We have mutual friends, and they're pretty cool guys. They're not about that life. But I have spoken to people who, it wasn't even like a thing of mistreating women. It was just like general things of not giving back. Like I was talking to this guy. He was saying, you were just talking about like hypothetical situations, and he said, if you received, let's say, 20K in your account right now, just randomly, then a person messages you like, yo, I made a mistake, please, whatnot. Yeah. Like, would you give it back? So I said, yeah, of course. Like, you don't know what that person went through to get that money, what you're gonna make them go through. Maybe it's for fees, maybe it's for someone in hospital, maybe it's for something crazy, right? Or even if it's not, it's still not your money. So these guys were like, nah, I'm gonna keep that, I'm gonna spend it, whatnot. So that and those two agreed. They were friends. So it made me realize, like, usually, like in groups of friends, people who are like-minded will like not stick together. Will attract each other to become friends, right? So in that trashiness, they'll find trashiness as the, common ground. Whereas for me, I was like, that's kind of messed up, right? And me, I know my friends will definitely give it back. So that's a problem, right? So that means people like me aren't necessarily mixing with people like them, but like you said, in a workspace, then that's when people end up mixing. And then if you go ahead, like this happened in actually, funny enough, this happened in my office recently, because I work in a shared office space. One of the companies, this had 3 guys and 1 girl in their as their company. So one of the guys, they got into a bit of a spat, right? So this girl basically, what happened, man? Sorry, I'm not telling the story properly. Okay. But basically what happened was, one of the guys is a D4C. So he hasn't really been going out. He hasn't really been, like out and about. Just basically not getting laid. So what happened was this girl, they were just telling me like, yeah, you should go out more. And it's like, no, just, why are you trying to tell me how to live my life, right? So he just like kind of like spats at her. Right? And then it was like, oh, okay. And then she's like, okay, cool. So she sits next to me. And then anyway, later on in the day, we're now talking, and then he's opening up about his divorce and how it happened, how he, got cheated on and all that stuff, how he even discovered it. So I was like, oh, damn, that's horrible, right? I'm sympathizing with him. And then he says how he spent 100K on lobola, and then a further, I don't know, 100K on the wedding, but another 100K on lobola, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of money. So this girl says, nah, that's dumb. So I was like, ooh, right? Like, why are you spending that kind of money? So I was like, okay, that's kind of, so his face kind of changed. Can't change, right? And then she then says, nah, I got into 500,000 worth of debt because my ex-boyfriend did this, that in my name, like bought property and all that. And then she was like, but you just have to move on. And then this guy starts like going in on her, like just shut the fuck up. Just why you just like, it's not about you. Everything's not about you. Oh no. So he just like blew up on her like crazy. So she was now like scared, like proper, because he was flaring up. And then she starts crying, and then she's like, yo, Glenn. So I was there while it was happening. So I'm confused. I'm like, whoa, what do I do? Right. So I'm also, it was so weird. It was so difficult for me to do, because I knew what he was doing was wrong in how he was like swearing at her, like just like going in on her. And it's not even just about her being a girl. It's just to another person. You just can't do that. I don't know why I told that story. What did you do? That's what I thought we were
what did I do?
So I basically told the boss. Because it's not my company. So I didn't really want to. Did you say anything to the guy and say, dude, but what are you doing? That's not okay. Maybe once he had calmed down or whatever. I definitely. Well, he apologized, like that wasn't cool. Like afterwards, he said, like, I'm sorry you had to experience that to me. And then, but then after that, what I actually did was I went to the girl, like, how are you doing? Because she was crying. She actually left the table and went at her desk and started crying. So I went to her, walked her to the shops, bought her some jelly beans because she loves them. Bought her some jelly beans just to cheer her up. And then I just like, yo, gave her a hug. She starts crying, and then like just like, yo, like it's fine. Like I'm sorry for what he did. But that's what I did. And then to him, I didn't scold him for it. He's like freaking 46.
You needed to scold that man.
But in my defense, he came to me and said, I'm sorry I did that. That wasn't cool.
But the problem is that he's saying sorry to you, and he probably didn't say sorry to her, which is part of it. Do you think he did?
Yeah, okay. But she said she wasn't convinced.
Exactly. Although I do think in that moment, you should have still spoken to him.
While it was happening?
No, after he had calmed down, when he said sorry to you, you should have told him, bro, that's not cool. You don't do that to another person, let alone another woman. So
I'm with you. But
and that's what we're asking for, in my opinion. When we ask males to be allies around what's happening, is when you see it, you need to call it out. Because the views that, it's just girls being girls and they're so emotional, versus unfortunately, a guy only responding to another guy sometimes saying, bro, but that's actually not okay and you need to be better. So that's, I think that's a part of what we can do in very real, meaningful ways, what guys can do in their circles.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, yeah.
And I know for a fact he wouldn't have done that to another dude.
Exactly.
Like the way he went in, like he was going in.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Right. So it was quite bad. I was cringing the whole time.
Yeah.
Do you think I should have stopped it at that point?
I think you should have tried to.
I mean, I was like, no. I mean, I was like, I wasn't aggressive in the way I was stopping it. I was like, yo, guys, just chill, because she was also then spitting back. Yeah. But she wasn't swearing though. She was just like, yo, like, why are you swearing at me? Why are you swearing at me? Yeah. How can you talk to me like that?
Yeah.
So it was like heated. So I'm like, guys, just take it down, just chill. It was like one of the first times I've been in such a situation, especially definitely the first time in a professional. In a professional setting. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But you're absolutely right. Probably would have been a good thing if I'd actually been like, yo, dude, like, that's unacceptable. But his boss said that.
Yeah.
I think.
The craziest thing is though, like, I remember, and I'm not sure if I told you this as well, but I remember when I was in Berlin earlier on this year in April. And I remember this one time, it's probably about 11 p.m. or even midnight. I was with this girl that I'd met there, who we became friends and were kind of hanging out. So we're together walking towards the train station. And I never, ever in my life realized the freedom of knowing that you're safe as two females and being able to walk at night alone.
And you felt it
and psychologically, it's different.
Yeah.
And it sounds like so up in the air because it's hard to explain. But like for a moment, I was like a little bit nervous and I'd be looking over my shoulder. Then I realized, so she was like, dude, what's happening? It's safe. Nothing's going to happen to us here. But literally that psychological shift walking around that night, and for a couple of nights we were walking around doing multiple stuff at night, two females in Berlin, and feeling psychologically the difference of feeling safe. It's crazy and it's underrated. And you see like a lot of females tweeting about this, which seems like funny and a joke. But the idea of actually choosing to leave the country because psychologically you want more room. And yes, there's other issues in other countries. So that's not to say that other countries are a safe haven. But I do think
particularly really bad.
There is a trauma in fear. So even there are times where I'm in an Uber and like for a second when he locks the doors. So when you hear that, like for a second, I'm just
your
like,
kind of jumps.
Man, yeah. Or when he's using a different route and you're like, man, I don't know this route. For a second, you're kind of like, man, anything could happen. And it is like psychologically, I mean, I'd love to study the effects on the brain of living in fear, but in reality, it is
because you don't have a peace of mind,
fear.
Essentially.
Yeah.
Anytime you're not in your house.
Yeah.
And it's in the evening.
Yeah.
Right? Or in an Uber. Yeah. Then you don't have a peace of mind. That's obviously not healthy. Yeah. And I remember who I was telling, but when I came to South Africa for the first time, right? It was my first time living here when I came here in first year. So in Zimbabwe, you hear all these things like South Africa, these things happen, like you get mugged, you can get stabbed, especially the stabbing one. That was like a thing that happens apparently, So I come to SA. I was staying in Clarinus, just up in Observatory. And then I remember being scared to walk to St. Peter's Square to Pick and Pay.
Yeah.
It's literally about a 10-minute walk. I was scared. Not scared. I was scared. During the day, I was scared because I was like, I don't want to get stabbed. I don't want my phone to get stolen. I don't want anything to happen to me.
Yeah.
So now I was thinking, when girls are saying like they feel the fear now, just walking like in South Africa or going in walking in a secluded street, or like you said, getting into an Uber, because I don't fear getting into an Uber at all. Zero fear, right? But I do understand what you're saying, because it took me a while to get over the whole being scared of walking to the shops from Rez. And then until then I had a peace of mind while I was walking. But I remember the first time I did it, looking over my shoulder like every time.
Yeah. Just
to make sure I was safe.
Yeah.
So I get it.
Yeah.
In a way, in a sense.
And I mean, it's tough in the sense that when you ask the question of what can we do, and I mean, not to sound pessimistic, but to a certain extent, it feels so macro that a part of me is like, it needs the leadership of the country and the leadership within different layers of society and private sector, and yes, ourselves as well. But it feels like it needs to be like, the question of what can we do needs to be an all hands on deck kind of thing, because I do believe that a lot of the reasons for the manifestation of the violence is very complex, in that there's so many societal issues that lead to the state that we find ourselves in as a country. I think it's sad that a lot of the cases, as we were chatting about earlier, a lot of the cases that happen to people who live in poor communities don't get reported or get as much airtime on social media or anywhere else. It's sad because it kind of makes this incident feel unique versus we're actually in big trouble, and I'm not sure what the answers are. I don't think there are any easy answers to it. Yeah,
it's quite bad. I don't know, but it's a tough one. But anyway, so you are leaving the country.
That's true.
Are you excited? Where are you going?
I am. So I'm moving to London to do a master's, which is super exciting. I am excited. I think there's a bit of nostalgia. So there's a bit of nostalgia for home and people and all those other things. But I am also incredibly excited. I think it's going to be a great experience. So I was telling one of my colleagues / managers that I'm leaving, and this whole spiel around eventually I want to come back because I want to impact the continent and I want to contribute towards Africa's development and all these things. And what she told me, which I found pretty profound and I'd never thought about before, is you need to question whether that whole idea of coming back is a romanticism of how we solve issues, versus if you're sitting at the headquarters of a decision maker, so say the UN in New York, could you do more good for Africa than your physical body here could do? And she was arguing that she feels that there is a bit of romanticism around this idea of, you leave, you get the education and you kind of do that whole thing and you come back, versus where are the powerhouses, where are actual decisions being made? And sometimes you might be more useful not physically being here, which, I mean, it's still a hard thought for me because there's a part of me that's just Wakanda forever and I need to be here with my people and be solving issues and stuff. So yeah, that's kind of where I am right now.
And so you'll be in London. Which school are you going to?
I will. So I'll be at the University of London, specifically at the School of Oriental and African Studies. Doing development studies. Yeah.
What do they call it? SAS? What do they call
it? SOAS.
Yeah. Ijangolet is always like, I'm going to SOAS. I'm like, literally no one knows what that is.
You do say that every single time.
It's a department in a university or a school.
Yeah, but in the same way, like LSE, which is part of the University of London, people say, I'm going to LSE.
What's LSE?
London School of Economics.
But that's London School of Economics.
Yeah, but it's still part of the University of London. It's a department in the school.
But it's economics though. It's not what's yours, development studies, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Listen to these people who don't put a premium on people thinking about social issues.
No, fair enough. Yeah. Okay. And what are you studying? Did I just ask you that?
You just mentioned it and made a joke out of it.
Development studies.
Yeah.
Right.
Development studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's dope.
Yeah.
So that's London. And which area of London are you going to be staying? Have you sorted out like accommodation?
I have. So I'll be staying in central London.
Is it res or it's res?
It's not conventional res in that it's a house with 8 of you and you share the kitchen and lounge. But it's like there's multiple houses next to one another and you guys are in one house. It's 8 of you and you share the kitchen.
Is that how res is? That side was just an option?
Postgrad. I think it's postgrad res.
They don't want you to be in like a classic res. Vibe.
Yeah.
So when are you out? When are you leaving?
Around the 17th of September. So I haven't pinned down the flights yet, but I'm looking at the 17th. Want to spend a few days like just kind of touring the city before, all week starts on the 23rd of September and then classes start shortly after that. So I just want to kind of give myself time to acclimatize to the new space.
That's wise. Yeah. And what's your plan in terms of just like travel within Europe? Like, are you going to be checking places out? And
that's the plan. Like literally on my to-do list, one of the first things is get a year Schengen visa so you can go out in and out of the UK with the whole Brexit thing happening.
Yes.
But yeah, so the intention is to travel a lot, to study, to join literature circles, to write. I think there's a usefulness, and so I was having this conversation with a friend where she was saying in her year when she went to study that you found kids who went straight from uni to say London or wherever, or America or wherever, to do a master's directly after versus studying. And I think I find myself happy or grateful rather that I'm doing it this way around, because I do think the working years kind of give you a sense for what you really enjoy, what your passions are, also who you are. So I do think the experience, and as much as I'm going back to varsity, which is weird, the experience is going to be entirely different, which I'm excited about. And also very like, in terms of development studies that Deuce Magic made fun of, being something that I really enjoy. I think I hardly did pre-reads during my undergrad. And
you hardly did what?
Pre-reads.
Pre-reads,
Pre-reads that you have to do for lectures and stuff. But now, like, my approach to this, given the interest in whatever, I hope to be a lot more engaged and a lot more intentional about deep learning versus trying to get a degree, which a lot of us were trying to do during our undergrad, versus I'm actually deeply trying to learn.
And you literally chose this degree with purpose.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
And that's the difference as well.
So that's also another advantage of actually working first, and then you can like scan and see. Yeah. Very few people know right after grad like exactly what they want to be like doing. Yeah. And those people are fortunate; they can just go straight into it if they want to. But if you don't, it's good. Just get into the workspace, get some money, just learn a few things and
then figure it out.
Know exactly where you want to go.
Yeah.
So that's all the best with that. I'm super proud of you, and I'm gonna. At least I know I can visit London, see.
Always welcome.
I'll have people there, so that's gonna be dope. Yeah. And then we'll check out, go to Ibiza or something. And,
that would be amazing.
Go wild, go wildin', like we always do, huh? Ija?
Right.
Huh?
I don't know what he's talking about.
You are denying those allegations. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. I think, we can wrap this up.
Yeah.
We've had a good run, and. Look, I'll be happy to have you back on whenever next we can actually do this. Whether it's in Europe, whether it's here, when you visit Cape Town, if you ever will.
I will.
You will, great.
Cool.
Just visit, not stay.
Of course.
Probably not.
I'm done.
Okay. You're done.
Yeah.
You're out.
Yeah, unless fate brings me back. But
all right. So guys, check out Ijangolet's book, An Image in a Mirror.
Yep.
New edition's out, new cover. It's great. That's An Image in a Mirror by Ijangolet Ogwang. That's at Exclusive Books.
At the Book Lounge.
At
certain bargain books.
Not on nowhere online.
Loot, Amazon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Loot and Amazon. You can check it out.
Take
you
a
can get
lot.
it there.
I think it's there as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's still there.
Okay. So guys, check it out. It's a great book. And Instagram, that's at Ijangolet Ogwang. Yep. That's on Instagram, and on Twitter. Is it the same?
Ijangolet O.
Ijangolet O. That's the handle on Twitter. So guys, check her out. She's very smart and great. Okay. As far as this episode is concerned, I think we're done. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and leave a review on iTunes. We will appreciate that a lot because it makes us rise up the ranks. Subscribe on YouTube and just click on the little bell, and because the algorithms are pretty much against me at this point. I'm hardly on people's timeline, so just click on the bell. It'll tell you when I post. And thanks so much for joining me. These are amateur opinions. If you like them, take it or leave it. Peace.
Bye.